Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Scrapbook.com's winter collection. Scrapbook.com just released their fun winter collection. It includes shape dies, there's a stamp set, coordinating dies to go with the stamp set, and also a beautiful paper pad. I'll show you the shape die set first. It's called Winter Wishes. There are lots of great images, a polar bear, a sweet little fox, a sweater, 3 different presents, a couple of snowflakes, a tiny star, and also the sentiment Winter Wishes. Next is the stamp set Hello Winter, and there are coordinating dies. The stamp set has the same polar bear, sweater, and fox images, plus lots of great sentiments. And the nice thing about the coordinating dies, there is a die going around all of the images as well as the sentiments. And with the large Winter Wishes sentiment, the outline die on the shape die set, it also fits the stamped words. So it's fun that you have the option of die cutting the words Winter Wishes or stamping them. Some of the other sentiments are Cheers to a New Year, Hello Winter, that one's my favorite, Your Friendship Warms My Heart, Stay Cozy, Happy New Year, and The Best Is Yet to Come. Here's a look at the new winter pattern paper collection. I have the A2 size, but it's also available in the 6x8 size. This paper pad is just gorgeous. I love the soft colors and there are so many fun designs. The paper pad includes 40 sheets. You'll receive 5 sheets of each pattern and these are all double-sided. I love that they include some full images. All you need to do is add a sentiment, maybe some bling, and your card is finished. There are a couple of beautiful floral designs. I'll flip around the paper pad so you can see the back side of the papers. There are also several patterns that have a solid on the back, which is really great since those colors match beautifully with the paper collection. The paper weight of Scrapbook.com's pattern paper pads is a nice heavy weight, so you don't have super thin pattern paper. If you are interested in any of the items in Scrapbook.com's winter collection, I do have links provided in the description box below. And I also have a few cards to share using this new collection. For card number 1, I will be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Freshly Made Sketches. It's number 535. I selected one of my favorite pattern papers for the background. It has lots of little bird images with some twigs and maybe some bird seed. The background piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'll layer it on some of the brown solid pattern paper. For the narrow strip that goes across the card, I'm using some solid gray cardstock. And for the banner, I'm using pattern paper that has lots of small little pluses or X's. I'll cut a fishtail on the left side using Scrapbook.com's EasyGrip scissors. Next, I'll add a gray circle die cut, and this is from the pattern paper. I'll put glue on the back using Scrapbook.com's Artis glue. I'll adhere it on the right side of the card. In the center of this circle, I'm adding a beautiful snowflake. The snowflake is a die from Scrapbook.com, and I use their holographic mirror paper, so it's super sparkly. I'll put glue on the back, adhere it on the circle, and I am placing an acrylic block on top for some added weight, giving that glue some time to dry. For a sentiment, I've already stamped and cut this out, Stay Cozy. I used brown ink, stamped it on some white shimmer cardstock, and I am popping it up with some foam dimension. I used Scrapbook.com's 1mm foam roll, and I just cut the strip in half so it fit behind the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 1. Now moving on to card number 2. I selected 2 pattern papers. I have a 1.5 inch strip of the winter colored stripes, and for the very background I'm using the plaid design in this really soft, sort of a pinkish peach color. I'll layer the background on some of the brown solid pattern paper, put adhesive on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll add the winter stripe paper toward the bottom of the card. For adhesive, I'm using Scrapbook.com's Deluxe Adhesive Roller. Using Scrapbook.com's nested A2 arches, I cut out a large gray arch. This is more of the smooth colored pattern paper, and I'll adhere that down using glue. Using the sweater dies, I cut out 2 sweaters from the pattern paper. The first sweater design has snowflakes, flowers, winter foliage. Using some of the solid brown pattern paper, I cut out the trim, the little cuff, and the collar for the sweater. I'll adhere all of those in place with some glue. Many of the image dies also include the outline piece. I cut that out from white cardstock. I'll add this sweater on that outline piece. And I've already assembled a second sweater featuring a polar bear right in the front. I stamped and cut out the sentiment Hello Winter. I used some dark brown ink. Using the outline die, I cut out a second piece from some of the silver holographic paper. We'll add the sentiment on top, offsetting it slightly so you can see some of that beautiful holographic paper on the left and bottom of the sentiment. I will be popping it up with some foam dimension using Scrapbook.com's 1mm thickness foam roll. This is my favorite foam dimension, and Scrapbook.com is coming out with more 1mm and also their 3mm foam in different shapes. You can see it on their website in their Coming Soon section, and I will pop a link in the description box. I'll also pop up both of the sweaters using the foam dimension. It's really easy to cut, and the release paper comes off easily. For embellishments, I cut out several of the small snowflakes that are included on the Winter Wishes die set. I used some of the silver holographic paper and also some white shimmer cardstock. And I'll glue the 2 different sizes of snowflakes together. Put 2 in the upper right-hand corner and 1 above the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 2. This sweater die image is so fun and super easy to customize. Now moving on to card number 3. For the background of my card, using this gray pattern paper with lots of trees and snowflakes, layering it on some dark brown cardstock, and this is cardstock from my stash. I'll put adhesive on the back, add my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. Next, I'll add a wide piece of the same dark brown cardstock. This is 4¼ inches by 3 inches. I've already gone ahead and cut out the pieces to assemble the sweet polar bear. I use white shimmer cardstock for the top layer of the polar bear, a light gray cardstock for that back piece. So you'll just see 2 of the legs, and I'm using the light gray so it looks shadowed. For the outline piece of the image, I use some vellum from Scrapbook.com. I'll place a large acrylic block on top for some added weight while the glue dries. Now I'll add the nose and the eye, and these are teeny tiny pieces, so I am using an embellishment wand to pick those up. I'll first add a small drop of Artis glue, pick up the tiny die cuts, and press them in place. Now I'll put glue on the back of the bear, making sure not to get any glue on the vellum area that's visible. Then I'll add the bear on the left side of the brown panel. I've already stamped and cut out the sentiment, "Your friendship warms my heart." I'll adhere it in the lower right-hand corner, and I also stamped and cut out a heart. I used Catherine Pooler's Rockin Red ink color, and I'll adhere the heart right above the sentiment. I really like that pop of red with all the neutral colors on this card. To finish off the card, using a small scrap piece of the brown cardstock, cutting a banner and adding it in the upper left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 3. For card number 4, I am using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Sketch Saturday. It's number 734. And if you are interested in any of the sketches I use in this video, I share all of that information on my coordinating blog post. The link is in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. I'm using more of the soft peach plaid paper for the background. For the small rectangle piece, I'm using the pattern paper that's white and it has a few winter colored stars. I'll layer that piece on some light brown cardstock. For the banner and also the background cardstock layer, I'm using some of the gray smooth pattern paper. I'll first adhere the star pattern paper piece on the gray banner, then add it on the right side of the card. Then I'll layer the background on the gray pattern paper. Put adhesive on the back and add my card front onto a card base. This paper pad has so many beautiful designs, it's really hard to pick which side to use. It's a good thing there's 5 of each. I've already gone ahead and cut out all of the die cut pieces. You can see I have quite a few. To make sure I didn't lose any of those die cut pieces, I have all of them stored in one of Scrapbook.com's stack and sort trays. This card will be featuring the adorable fox. I used dark brown cardstock for the very back piece of the fox, and you'll be able to see one of the ears and also the legs, but I wanted both of the ears to be that same brown color, so I did cut out a second piece and just trimmed off that top portion. I'll glue that one down first, then I'll add the brown body layer of the fox next. So you can see the dark brown of the legs peeking through. I used a light brown, sort of a beige color for the chest of the fox and also the very tip of its tail. I'll put glue on the back and add my fox on the outline piece, and I cut that out from vellum. Next I'll add the fox's nose and also its eye, and these are teeny tiny pieces just like the polar bear. I'll first put a small drop of Artis glue down. I was trying to use my reverse tweezers, but these pieces are so small, I grabbed my embellishment wand instead. The Artis glue gives you that little bit of wiggle room so you could get those die cut pieces straight. Now I'll do the same thing for the fox's eye. I also cut out some snowflakes and I used some white glitter paper. I almost forgot to add the little bow tie on the fox. I use more of the gray paper that I use for the banner and the background layer. I'll put just a little bit of glue on the back side and add the bow on the fox. He looks so handsome with his bow tie. I'll be adding the sentiment Winter Wishes. I use the same gray paper for the words and vellum for the outline piece. And I almost attached the word winter on the wishes outline piece. I was trying to line it up and it didn't look quite right. Luckily I hadn't pressed it down very far, so I didn't get a lot of glue on that piece. I'll put a small drop of glue above the eye so I can add the dot. I'll lay out the sentiment so I can get the placement correct for my little fox and also the snowflakes. I'm gluing down the fox, then I'll add the 3 snowflakes. For the sentiment, since the left side of the sentiment is going off of all those other layers, I do want to pop it up with some of the 1mm foam dimension. I don't want the foam to show through the vellum, so I am cutting some teeny tiny pieces of the foam and putting it behind the letters. If I had used a solid cardstock for that outline piece, it would be much easier to put foam dimension, but I really like the look of the vellum going around the words. It adds a very subtle touch. I never used to be a fan of vellum since it's tricky to adhere without the adhesive showing, but now I love using it. It's perfect for die cuts, it's great to use around sentiments or even just a layering piece. I always make sure to have several packages on hand since I use it all the time. After adding the foam dimension, I'll remove the release paper, put a tiny bit of glue on the right side of the sentiment just behind the letters, then I'll adhere the words on the left side of the card. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 4. This is definitely my favorite. I love this sweet little fox image. Now moving on to card number 5. I'm using one of my favorite sketches. This is from OWH. It's number 218. I love using this sketch to feature beautiful pattern paper. And this paper pad has lots of lovely paper. For this card, I'm featuring one of the floral designs. For the background of my card, I have some white shimmer or pearlescent cardstock. For the strip that goes across the card, using the pattern paper, sort of a light orange peach color with small white crosses or X's. I'm layering everything on some dark brown cardstock. I'll put adhesive on the back, add my card front onto a card base. Before adhering the floral panel, I will add a scrap cardstock piece on the back side, just on the top area. And that'll help it stay nice and level. After putting adhesive on the back, attaching the panel on the card, I always run my hand over just to see if I need more layers or less layers. This definitely didn't feel right, and then I realized I put it on upside down. Luckily, I was able to peel it off without ripping anything and reattach it. For a sentiment, I've already stamped out Hello Winter. Using the outline die, I cut out another piece from brown cardstock, and I'll layer the two together to create the dark brown drop shadow underneath the sentiment. Before adhering the sentiment, I did put a small piece of foam dimension on the very left side where it goes off of the floral paper. For embellishments, I'm adding some enamel dots from Concord and 9th. This is their Nutmeg color, and it matches beautifully with the paper collection. Now here's another look at the 5 cards I made using Scrapbook.com's brand new winter collection. This is a beautiful collection. I love the paper, stamps, and dies. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.